Services Limited has moved. Welcome to the new training session and offices for Services Limited and the Anti-Fragile Academy. The Anti-Fragile Academy is the part of the Services Limited group of companies which focuses on making your organisation and your processes not just more robust, but also anti-fragile. Our job is to discover the fragilities in your operations, in your strategy, in your governance, in your ways of working, in your supply chain, throughout the organisation, and to identify ways that we, working with you, can make the organisation less fragile. The idea of anti-fragility is due to Nassim Taleb, who was a trader on the New York Stock Exchange who made an incredible amount of money out of the financial crisis. Taleb recognised the risk and mitigated that risk by gambling a small amount of money on the collapse of the financial system each year. He got good odds, but eventually it happened and he won. Following that, he wrote a book called The Black Swan, which became the basis for many of our ideas today about how to deal with rare, unpredictable events with high impact. And anti-fragility is about trying to develop in our organisations properties which go beyond resilience, but extend also to the development of strength over time as those organisations are stressed. Just as when I exercise I get stronger, so too can systems and organisations get stronger from being stressed. The trick is to identify the weak point within our existing systems and organisations and to eliminate those weaknesses. Not just making them robust, because there's always a limit to robustness, but putting in learning and growth so that they continue to grow in strength over time and with stress. Our new headquarters is in the historic minster town of Southwell, and the minster in Southwell is the oldest cathedral in the United Kingdom. As such, it shows the heritage, the ability to survive for incredible periods of time, which in most organisations today would be highly desirable, but not, unfortunately, very likely. Today, the FTSE 500 companies are younger than they've ever been. Companies being replaced by other companies moving up. Companies losing their position, going bankrupt or just disappearing from the scene as technology change or change of business models makes them no longer relevant to today's economy and today's world. Anti-fragility is about building in that responsiveness, that flexibility, stopping your organisation just ageing over time. Part of our work with anti-fragility is our focus on governance. To my mind, governance gets too little attention within our organisations, both public and private sector. Governance is about the integrity of our systems and our ultimate control and of the management process throughout the organisation. One of the things we are frequently asked to do is to do a stock check of the governance within an organisation, starting from the controlling board and looking at the activities of the organisations as they're managed, controlled and planned down from the board activity. It's a good safeguard, it's a good check, but also it does provide the opportunity to look for those fragilities, those risk factors, and to so enhance risk management within the organisation. Risk management is another major area of our activities within the Anti-Fragility Academy, from teaching complete courses on every aspect of risk through to undertaking specialised risk assessments for organisations. As I have said, as well as governance and risk, anti-fragility concerns all aspects of the organisation, and one very important aspect is that of people. People often provide the anti-fragile feature which protects the organisation from the rigidity and lack of robustness within the formal systems. It's people who can work around things. It's people who can communicate across gaps. It's people who can effectively monitor at irregular times. And developing anti-fragile people is another major part of our activities at the Anti-Fragile Academy. Anti-fragility then is beyond the normal conventional ways of thinking about quality management or excellence. It's about all features, all aspects of the organisation from the very top to the very bottom, about all its interfaces, and it's linked rather than to the rather deterministic models which we use on the quality side associated with systems engineering. It's linked instead much more to soft system thinking.